Crypto markets are moving once again. The question, though, on everyone's brain is the bottom finally in, or is this just another blip? Is this just another dead cat bounce, and all of a sudden we're going to go even lower? We did hit some price levels that we talked about last week for Bitcoin. The question, though, is this the bottom? We will answer that question. We do have some phenomenal news, even if the bottom's not it, right? So we're going to have kind of two different lines of thinking. Whether we get one more sweep low, there is some fantastic news for Bitcoin. One of those pieces of news, kind of a joke, right? But it's something to be aware of in case you didn't know about it. The other one's very, very good news if you are bullish on the markets. If you're ready to get into the details, we are live today. It is September already. Holy cow, September 2nd. Time has flown. I feel like we were just doing the other day our January 1st, 2025 live show. And here we are. It's September. We're entering the last month of quarter three. Time has flown. Drop a one in chat if it feels like we just entered the year 2025 to you guys as well. I'm joined today by Shrum. Now, Smay's in here pushing buttons, but he is not feeling tops, does not want to be on camera. If we hit 700 likes, maybe we can sway him to do it at the end. But no, Smay, he's not feeling tops today. But prayers and thoughts to the Smainold over there in Gainesville as he's getting over sickness. Shrum, on the other hand, though, you, my friend, are riding high. Your Gators had a nice victory on week one. Can't say the same for Crux's Longhorns or my Hokies, but you know what? I think both our teams look good, even in defeat. The Gators look pretty swell. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling better than I deserve, Tim. I really am. The Gators showed up. Lagway did well. And now these markets are kind of taking the cue, and they're lagging, right? They're lagging, waiting to go to the upside. But I'm cheering for the Gators. I'm cheering for the Bulls as well. So, we got to hit those field goals. We definitely have some improvement to make there on the Gator football team. But it was a great showing this last Saturday.
Yeah, this is a good reminder. I'm looking in chat, and it says that I just commented, I'm Tim, and I love WVU. They won big. I forgot about Smay's Mountaineers. Listen, guys, sometimes even on YouTube chat, I have impersonators, so don't fall for it. Make sure you guys know me. You know the types of things I would say and would not say. Don't let Smay fool you into thinking that I would ever root for a terrible team like West Virginia. Also, that's a good segue into do not be fooled on X or Discord as well. This week, I got plenty of messages. There's a bunch of spams going out there on Discord and X. A lot of people are pretending to be me or other guys on the team, fake Shrums, fake Smays, fake Cruxes. We do not DM people on Discord. I do not reach out to people on X. If you get a direct message on a platform that claims to be myself or anyone from our team, you done been scammed. The same way if you see a Tim Warren saying he loves West Virginia and that Virginia Tech is terrible, you also know that that is a scam. Get to know me and you'll know the truth from the untruth. We don't DM people and we don't root for West Virginia here. With that said, let's go ahead and get into, let's start with the breaking news. This isn't breaking. Let's start with the really good news. That's slightly a joke, but I'm taking a slightly serious. Go to my screen. Justin, we put this over on the Tim Warren X account today. Jim Cramer said the market is usually weak in September. Well, there we go. That if there's not another reason, we could end the show right here. If you're wondering, should you be buying or should you be selling? If Jim Cramer is warning people that Septembers are normally red and you should get away, I don't know what other evidence you need. I think it's time to buy. Now, I'll present some other pieces of evidence to help you feel better if you did buy the dip along with myself. I actually didn't even realize I bought the dip yesterday until about an hour ago. I was looking at some things. I don't always check my spot buying account. Been doing more trading recently, and I bought the bottom almost perfectly. And seeing a report like this from Jim Cramer makes me feel really, really good about it. Before I get into that stuff, though, let's check on some other things like the bubbles. It's a pretty green day today. A couple of red out there. Crow, of course, Crow had a really big week last week, so I'm not surprised to see Crow down here today. Pith, an explosion last week as well. That's another coin. We kind of warned our community, like, hey, like, great run for Pith. Little too fast, little too explosive. don't be surprised that one has a little bit more of a correction. Hex is down here a little bit. Other than that, some big gainers here. The biggest one, Sky Pump Maker, and then ENA is a coin that we do love here at the Tim Warren channel. We love ENA. It's up 7.1%. BGB is up. Bitcoin Cash is technically up. Is right over here. Now, this is a coin. I did include it in a video we made last week. I talked about 3 coins to avoid, and Bitcoin Cash really wasn't one of them. I kind of threw it in behind Ethereum Classic, and I give a lot of reasons. I really speak about Ethereum Classic being a coin not to invest in, but I kind of say, like, don't go on to these copycats. Someone corrected me. They're not technically copycats, because Ethereum Classic, for example, is the original code for Ethereum, and then what we know as Ethereum now was actually a fork that left it. It just moved on and advanced and got utility, versus Ethereum Classic stayed behind. Ethereum Classic sucks. I threw Bitcoin Cash in there because I said replicas are not something to invest in. To be fair, Bitcoin Cash is performing quite well. It's actually doing as well as a lot of the other altcoins in its field. I still don't think Bitcoin Cash is a long-term solution, but I want to make sure I'm letting people know, if you watch that video, I'm mostly talking about Ethereum Classic. Technically speaking, Bitcoin Cash has still been performing well. Ethereum Classic, on the other hand, sucks. Don't buy Ethereum Classic. Speaking of another coin that we say you should be buying and has had a little bit more of a down summer, not really making a lot of fireworks, I do think the time is coming. People have been asking me, Tim, can we make an update on ONDO? I will do that soon. Not this week. We already have all the content for this week planned out. ONDO's not on the list, but ONDO's up 6.3. Maybe look at it today. It's up 6.3% today. You love to see that. Let's go take a look at the charts. Now, Bitcoin doing a couple very bullish things here that I absolutely love. Let me start off by talking about the red resistance level we drew on this live show last week. I think we drew this on a Wednesday. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we drew this on Wednesday during the live show, connecting all these dots, saying, hey, let's get a break above this red line. We did that over the weekend, over the last couple of days here. That's a good sign. Of it by itself, is that the biggest thing in the world? No, we need to see sustained bullish moves. I really would love to see Bitcoin get back above 113.5 and put in another higher high. But you can see a breaking of resistance structure is point number one we really need to see Bitcoin do to feel bullish about it once again. Another thing we're tracking, and we got close, and even after this closes, it's not guaranteeing that the bottom is in. I just want to make sure we're looking at this. The daily chart, we were tracking a sell signal. You guys remember weeks ago, we were tracking sell signals back up here around July 15th, and then another one that came in here around August 15th. Well, right now, if the daily candle were to close right at this level, we have ourselves a green reversal dot, a green momentum dot. By the way, you're not showing up here, but that's also bullish divergence right here with lower lows in price action, yet higher lows in terms of oscillator action. So just want to kind of leave that one out there for you. But then you also, right now, the money flow, I actually told the trading group over the weekend, it was weird to watch. The Bitcoin price was falling, but the money flow, guys, right here, this money flow, which is one of the most powerful indicators that Luxalgo has. Like, if you don't buy Luxalgo for the other reasons, money flow indicator alone, I think, is worth every penny that you purchase Luxalgo with. And by the way, if you buy a whole year right now, it's like a 45% off for Labor Day sale. So go act on that in the link down below. But that money flow is positive, and this money flow started flowing positive even while Bitcoin was dropping. So I had an inkling that this weekend might put in a bottom, and we're waking up here and we're getting to the end of Tuesday, and it's looking like a buy signal is coming in on Bitcoin. You love to see it. You do love to see it. What would that imply? We never got below the smart trail, so you don't have this smart trail to the upside to keep a target on. I would probably keep an eye on, if we can break through here. Again, I told you, let's get above that 113, 114. Let's get rid of this breaker block. I'd keep an eye back around former all-time highs. We have a big order block ranging from 121 all the way to the former all-time high here above 124,000. I'm going to assume we also, if I go to lower time frame, we're going to have some pretty interesting liquidations that high as well. If I come out here, let me zoom out for a second. Lots of liquidations on the way there, though. You know, big spot at 114. Right, so that's going to be a target to keep an eye on, but if we clear it, we're putting in that higher high. That's a good sign right there. Another big spot of liquidations up here at 117. And then, yeah, there we go. Okay, if I zoom out, there we go. Big pocket up here around 125-ish. is a pocket we could chase all the way. And then if this one, though, I think if we break through that, if we do that, it won't be some sort of trap. I don't think you get up here and then curl over and come back down. This is one you probably see an explosion to a new all-time high, maybe a little bit of a retracement as people take some profit, but then a rebound, maybe come back down to that former high, bounce, and shoot to the upside. But a lot of things need to happen before that happens. So buy signal is a good start. Let's put in some higher highs. Let's start liquidating some of the bears who have been shorting from those all-time highs. And we're talking about new highs coming very, very soon. I actually want to come back and talk about this later. I did not have the tweet up with me. I think Shrum did put it in. Oh, here, let's pull this up real quick. So this is one of the uglier transitions we've had here, but we got to put it in here. All right, so gold reached a new all-time high this weekend, actually twice. So we had this one 16 hours ago that was a 35.08, but now we hit 35.15. Did we go even higher than this? Let's go take a look. We might have gone higher than this even in the last couple of hours. Let's go to the gold chart here. 35.35 is where we're at right now. So we're hitting new all-time highs as we are speaking. This is probably not the end of it, right? There's going to be a couple things here to watch for gold. We were tracking a symmetrical triangle pattern. We were talking about how gold would be bullish. I think a conservative approach for a bullish trajectory here for gold would be, hey, next stopping point, we're talking about almost $3,800. That's simply by taking the opening of the symmetrical triangle and moving it to the breakout. There will be people talking about, I'm going to come down to this low here in December on the 26th. So the day after Christmas in the 2024, people are going to start talking about a bull pennant, where we've had an explosion in price for gold between December and April. We've been consolidating now for several months, all summer, just like Bitcoin did in 2024 summer. And now we're exploding. Could we see, actually, instead of just stopping at 3,800, could the next stopping point for gold be over $4,200 an ounce? You might be saying, Tim, that's way too explosive. Well, with how much they're printing the US dollar, look how explosive gold has been since dating back here. You really go all the way back to October of 2022. It has not had any type of serious pullback whatsoever. We have plenty of consolidating phases, but unlike Bitcoin that seems like it has these massive pullbacks, gold will rally, consolidate, rally, consolidate, rally, consolidate. This could be the next big leg for gold up towards $4,200. Now, you might be saying, Tim, cool, I'm not invested in gold. I think people should be investing in gold. You're not going to make as much ROI on gold as you will Bitcoin. You're definitely not going to make as much if I'm right about alt season coming and Chainlink going berserk and XRP going berserk and Solana going berserk and Sui going berserk. You're not going to make as much money. But diversifying and making sure you're protecting your investments with sure things. I mean, nobody's losing money on gold, right? You might not make a lot of money, but you're not losing money on gold. Its next big stop could be up here, but we've noticed a pattern where gold seems to be almost, it's not a perfect science of 30 days, but it seems like whenever gold has a new all-time high, a big explosion in price, Bitcoin seems to rally about 30 days later. Well, what would that mean? That also would imply, hey, this pullback that Bitcoin's been tracking with, could that be over? And are we about to see another explosion by the end of September? Will we see a new all-time high, kind of keeping that consistency? It seems like Bitcoin's just always a month behind gold. Makes sense, right? People who are afraid of the dollar's inflation, they want to get rid of it. They've trusted gold for a long time. They put their money into gold because that's a sure thing. Then gold hits new all-time highs, gets slightly overextended. They say, okay, what else can I go look at? We just talked about it last week. Even JP Morgan is out here saying, hey, when you're looking at gold versus digital gold, that being Bitcoin, Bitcoin's dramatically undervalued compared to gold. Do not be surprised as people are putting their faith into gold right now. If we do watch over the month of September, people start to pump Bitcoin again. And I think altcoins trickle right behind and potentially still outpace Bitcoin itself. One of the reasons why I feel like that is because, yes, we're getting a bounce right now on Bitcoin dominance. It is back up closer towards 59%, but we're still sitting in a spot right now where Bitcoin dominance, meaning the amount of money in the crypto space that belongs to Bitcoin instead of altcoins, it's still consolidating right here. I told you guys last week, this was a spot. We predicted 58% would be a bounce of support. We're right. I would not even be surprised to see Bitcoin dominance make its way back up towards 60%. This would not scare me, but the overall trend, if you look at the moves since the highs way back here in June, the trend is bearish, and I think that trend is going to continue. We'll let you know if something changes there, but Bitcoin dominance's trend is still going to the downside. So if Bitcoin's chart is going up and Bitcoin dominance is going down, that just speaks volume about what Ethereum and Chainlink and Solana and altcoins are going to do in the space. Now, I said a lot there, right? We're going through a lot of charts. Let me talk really quickly. I tell you guys all the time, don't use the word perfect when investing. Use the word good. If you try to pinpoint bottoms perfectly, you'll find yourself very often being left out, meaning you did the TA correctly, you put your buy-in spot, and then the price gets really close to your buy, but then stops just short and takes off to the upside. And it doesn't do you any good that you were close, right? Close only counts with horseshoe and hand grenades. It does not count in investing. If you put a buy-in order and you miss it by $5, sucks. Good TA, but you didn't make any money on it. Well, we told you right here, our spot. We told the VIP trading group first. I told you guys here on YouTube, watch out for this $107,200 level, right? This is the that very key level of the, what was this? The quarterly open, right? So I'm gonna make sure which ones. We talked about the quarterly open down here getting hit. And you're gonna say here, Tim, we didn't quite get there. We didn't quite get on Bitcoin Coinbase all the way down to your $107,200 level. You're right. What we got to was 107,246, I think is the exact level. But if you're on BloFin with us, which is where we're buying our cryptocurrency right now, right? Long-term holding, I'm going over to Coinbase. But with my spot buys to get in and out, which is what I'm doing a lot of right now, I'm buying over on BloFin. I go to my trading list, and I look at the BloFin chart. I put a buy-in order at 107,200, and the price of Bitcoin yesterday came down and wicked down to, if you look at the top level there, low of 107,195. I got in by $5, and anybody else who went to their BloFin account and rode this trade with me and said, Tim, I'm buying two at 107.2. You guys got that bottom in perfectly as well. Congratulations to you guys. If you did not get on it, that's fine. There will be times to buy in the future. We let you guys know all the time. Rarely are we this perfect, right? I think getting the bottom of Bitcoin within $5 is pretty darn close to perfect. I want you to know that's not normal. I rarely get them that well. I expected Bitcoin to probably come down towards like 106.8, 106.5. I just wanted to make sure I was in there. But in this case, if that does end up being the bottom, we haven't made a call that perfectly. And again, I don't like the word perfect, but you could also make the argument when we called down here at 74.5. That also was pretty darn close to perfect as well. Some other coins that we talked about here, Chainlink. I don't think we got our Chainlink one in there. We have to go down and check this to make certain. But we had a buy order at 21, 20, and 19. So Chainlink did not quite get there. Now, I scooped some up last week just because around the $23 level. I'm actually technically still in loss on that here for a little bit here. But I was hoping we'd get a move all the way down towards $20 and I could enter a longer-term trade. I mean, there's a chance that still works on Chainlink. I don't think it will. I think at this point, there's a lot of things stacking up that we could be done moving to the downside. It's September now. August closed out bearish. We had that bearish month, but with Jim Cramer being bearish now, that's always a good sign. And then some other things trickling in here. It's a very good sign that crypto could be ready to bounce once again. Today, we're talking about this in a little bit here. We did see the PMI numbers come in. I'm going to have Shrum explain that to you guys here in a little bit, but they came in favorably, came in at 48.7. Consensus was 49. We wanted this to stay below 50. Shrum will explain that more, but that came in very favorably. Some other things that we need to be watching the rest of this week. Wednesday, that's tomorrow, Jolt's job openings. Then on Thursday, ADP employment change. It's a lot of employment stuff. Of course, Friday, the big one people are looking at. Will Jerome Powell be cutting rates? Well, a lot of that will depend upon, is unemployment out of control or still trending in the wrong direction? Right now, it's at 4.2%. I would say as long as we stay at 4.2, which is the expectation, or if we go a little higher, that will play a major role. 4.2, 4.3, heck, 4.4, these are all very good signs because it's not out of control. It's not spiraling amok, but it's trending towards employment is a problem. Jerome Powell and his Fed will feel pretty much locked and trapped to have to cut rates. If it beats it, though, if we start to tick back down 4.1, 4%, that could put a damper. It's really good for the job market, really good for people's employment levels, but it's not necessarily good for getting us into that rate cut situation. Of course, next week, everything continues to get bigger and better. We'll have PPI on Wednesday. We will have core inflation on September 11th. And then, of course, on the 17th, we actually get the rate cuts. But right now, let's actually talk about that story, and then we'll keep moving on about rate cuts, because I want to get this into with Shrum explained. The ISM manufacturing PMI came in below expectations. Can we explain this on X? But Shrum, can you give us a little bit of a history lesson here? For anyone who's like, hey, I don't know what PMI is. I don't know what this means for my crypto holdings. Why is it so good that it came in at 48.7? Explain this a little bit to the people, and we'll keep moving on with the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So the U.S. manufacturing PMI is the Purchasing Managers Index, PMI, and it measures the economic health of manufacturing sector. And a reading above 50 means that the manufacturing sector is in expansion, right? So we got a print below 50. That means that it's still squarely in the contraction category. And what does that sound like to you? That sounds like something that needs to be fixed by the government, right? Or at least in the classic way of thinking that the government should do anything at all. But this is the type of news that will make Jerome Powell and his FOMC board think, wow, if the manufacturing indicator is signaling contraction, then we need to lower rates so that the manufacturing sector can expand, move above that 50 handle, and move forward to the upside. So it's really that simple. Now, there are other data prints that you probably saw that came out with PMI, employment, the prices, and things like that. Yeah, we could get more granular, but for as far as the market is concerned, the PMI was below 50, the headline PMI. That is really the main thing. Once that gets up above 50, then it's going to be a different story. But hopefully by then, the Fed will have pivoted from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing, and that train won't be stopping for a while.
Very good explanation there, Shrum. Let's keep going on. What does this mean for rate cuts? Again, this is going to hold the key. I do believe on Thursday we're putting out a video where we're going to kind of give all of the bearish and bullish implications, what's possible in September. I'm leaning bullish. I think September is going to be a green month. Obviously, Jim Cramer disagrees with me, makes me feel very comfortable about my prediction for a green month. But there is a scenario in which we have a bearish month. We're going to lay out what would have to happen for that to play out. One of the things that would have to happen is for this prediction that I'm about to show you to be wrong. Go to my screen and take my face off here, Smay, so that people can appreciate what we're looking at. The next FOMC is going to be the 17th of September. Right now, CME has a 91.7% prediction that we will get a rate cut. Now, sometimes those can sway a lot. I really have come around to Shrum's way of thinking here. Right? Shrum is the one who absolutely loves to watch Polymarket. I'm starting to lean that direction. Still, we'll keep a track on the CME. I think Polymarket seems to have a better grasp because people are betting on it. It seems to have more accurate scoring. It's not at 91. It's at 82%, though. And that's still ridiculously high. You can see the trending. This is kind of bounced back and forth. No change, being up to 70%. This is the highest split we've seen between the two of them. Very encouraging if you want to see a rate cut. And again, as long as unemployment is not out of control, right? If we saw unemployment shoot up to 4.5, 4.6, we might get a rate cut and have a crash because you're seeing early signs of a recession because unemployment's out of control. But as long as unemployment's not out of control, it's simply trending upwards, rate cuts will be bullish. They'll help companies get back on their feet, be able to keep people employed. They will help the economy thrive, and that will help people invest into cryptocurrency assets. So that's something absolutely to keep an eye on right now. Everything's trending that direction. But again, what happens the rest of this week, especially on the 5th and then the 11th, could have a major say in if maybe this prediction changes and we start to see a pause be more reasonable. That being said, let's talk about some other stories here. We're going to have plenty of time today for some Q&A. So you guys can start dropping questions now. Smay, Shrum, if you see a question that sticks out to you, copy and paste it. We'll come back to it. But let's take a look at some other stories here. We already talked about the PMI, so I'm going to get rid of that one. This happened here, I think yesterday. President Trump claims that India has offered to cut their tariffs to nothing just hours after Modi and Putin. Am I saying that name correctly? Modi? Is it Modi or Modi?
Modi. Narendra Modi.
Pronunciation is important, people. Learn to pronunciate. Modi and Putin met This is a very positive sign because there absolutely were some negative trends when it came to our relationship with tariffs with India. Right, earlier this year, it seemed like amazing relationship between India and America. We had a lot of stuff going. We're gonna have this major trade deal with India, and then because of their relationship with Putin and Russia not playing ball in peace talks, it was very clear that the United States was more kind of going after Russia through India by increasing tariffs. But with these talks starting to de-escalate the tension, with India coming to the table saying we're going to offer no tariffs whatsoever, Shrum, just how bullish is this? I mean, it's clearly bullish, but how bullish? Is this a nothing burger bullish, so it's just kind of okay, or is this potentially massively have massive implications for markets to go to the upside because of this news?
Well, the issue is that India doesn't buy a whole lot from us, Tim. They send us a whole lot, meaning they sell us a lot of things, right? From mostly pharmaceuticals to a lot of manufactured goods, a lot of textiles, and then loads of IT services. But the issue is that we do not, they do not buy a whole lot from us. So lowering the tariffs is going to be a great thing for businesses that are going to be started and that are going to export to India. But the issue is there's not a lot. There's not like a bunch of manufacturers stateside that are clamoring to be able to sell to India, right? There's the differences in the currency, purchasing power make it to where it doesn't make sense for Indians to try to buy toasters that we make in the US because they can make toasters way, way, way cheaper. So, of course, there will be some goods that we can make here and that are cheaper than in India. There always will be those anomalies. But in essence, this is to the extent that Trump really kind of is speaking from what is actually going to happen, because there's some speculation that he's just firing from the hip, saying something to kind of stir the pot a little bit. But to the extent that this is an accurate statement, it really shouldn't affect markets too much. It seems to be kind of a positioning to kind of put more pressure on India and say, hey, you said this in one of the negotiations. If you don't make good on this now, because I've made it a big public, I brought it back into the public's consciousness, there could be some pushback. But really, it just has everything to do with India needs to stop buying oil from Russia, and if Russia could just declare peace and sort that out, which obviously way above my head, way above my pay grade to understand that, but that seems like that would be able to kind of make it to where India could potentially keep buying Russian oil, and other countries could then buy Russian oil. But as long as that war keeps waging on, that really does seem to be the biggest campaign promise that Trump hasn't been able to deliver. So that really sucks. This also opens the door a little bit to whether or not these tariffs are going to be around at all as far as the United States judicial system is concerned. But that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I for anyone who's wondering what he's talking about, obviously there was that judge that came out and said that tariffs are illegal, that they're going to try to shut down Trump's tariffs. It's not going to be a big thing. It's going to go to the Supreme Court. Without getting too political, there are a lot of judges out there that are political. And so I think this is another political judge trying to make a statement. It will go to the Supreme Court. There's nothing in the Constitution that says the President of the United States cannot issue tariffs. It might be unwise. He maybe shouldn't do it, but that's not the Supreme Court's job to say what he should and should not do. The question is he legal or not legal? Unfortunately, if you don't like tariffs, I'm saying unfortunate, if you like tariffs, fortunately for you guys, there's nothing in the Constitution that says the President of the United States cannot issue tariffs. So I don't think that's a story going anywhere. What I wanted to say though, Shrum, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't research this beforehand because I didn't know where we were going this. I'm remembering though, I think I'm remembering, wasn't there talk earlier this year though that India was going to start buying medicine from the United States? Like I thought they were going to start using America almost exclusively for their medicine. Maybe I'm misremembering that, but do you am I wrong there? Am I off? Do you remember anything about that?
It could be, Tim. It could be. I mean, we do a lot of trade in the pharmaceutical industry with India, but usually that is us purchasing pharmaceuticals from them, so manufactured from them, but American companies, right?
I think I'm
what's
pretty
likely
sure
to go forward.
American medicine going to India. I don't think it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's possible. I think if you think about it, it would be brand power that Indians would be would be interested in is unique, probably luxury products from the United States.
Yeah.
Think Teslas, right? Maybe even higher end, American automobiles that are not really traded, not sold to India. That could open up, right? The question is do
Yeah.
they want that? Is there really demand for American automobiles? Of course, there's going to be some, but is it going to be meaningful? Is it going to move the needle for Ford and Chevy and General Motors? So I think
Yeah.
that this is, the tariffs coming off there is it's a nice statement to kind of keep momentum towards the Trump administration, but ultimately, what really matters is that India needs to stop essentially funding the war in Russia, right?
Yeah.
That Russia would not be able to have the resources that it has today to fight that war if they didn't have the ability to sell oil to India and China. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's keep moving on, though. Good story. I think it's going to be important to keep tracking what's going on there with the India side. I think the worst case scenario you laid out, it's a nothing burger. Best case scenario, it's a major story. So kind of win-win no matter what we see happen there. Let's keep going on, though, into, we try to not get too political. This one, I'm going to stay almost apolitical, but this story is coming out here today. California Governor Gavin Newsom to launch a crypto meme coin, effectively to compete with Trump coin. Now, if you guys watched my 3 coins to avoid last week, one of the coins was Trump coin. All right. If I was going to make a video today and add another coin to the list, it would be this coin. I'm going to let other people have the idea. Shrum talked about, we were talking beforehand. Shrum says, Tim, I don't have the time to do this right now. So if someone else wants to go make a t-shirt with this, you have my permission. Go make money on it. Can we get a t-shirt or a hat? I think there's too many words for a hat, though. Make America a country where politicians don't make meme coins again. A lot of words, right? If you're going to shorten it down and make it more concise, be my guest. But at the end of the day, listen, I'm not a fan of Trump coin. So this is not stay away from this. I think they're going to put the word Trump in this coin as well. It's not going to be called the Gavin Newsom coin. Stay away from any meme coin, period. But particularly the celebrity ones, period, and especially the politician ones, period, right? A lot of things going in there. This is absolutely ridiculous. I hope it's for not just his sake, but for people's sake. I hope that this is more of a joke, not an actuality. Shum, anything on that before we move on and we get into some questions and answers? People asked about ONDO. What are your thoughts on more political meme coins?
Yeah, I do not engage, right? If you are someone especially newer to crypto, don't think that this is just going to be something to get rich on quickly because Gavin Newsom's the coolest guy ever or the worst guy ever. Like this is not that. Now, of course, if you're experienced in crypto and Web3 and you're doing all kinds of different maneuvering, this might be, a way to get rich quick, right? For you, if you know how to do that. But I would just stay away from them altogether. I'm not touching them, right? I think that it's fun, right? If you're going to engage in it, you need to have no motivation other than to have fun and it to be a silly, silly thing. If you have any expectation to grow wealth, to gain, to have some gains, that is the wrong motivation. Meme coins are for fun and they're for community building. There's other utility, of course, but especially something like this, you got to have fun with it. If you're not having fun, get out. Don't ever come back. But I'm just not getting into it to begin with.
Yeah. Let's get in here and look at some questions here. We're going to answer a hard one off the top of that. I'm going to say yes to this question, but I have to ask it first. But I will say chart's not going the way I thought it would. Shane Johnson says, are you still bullish on Plume Network? Some of you guys will know Plume was a newer coin that I had been bigger on more recently. I still think it has a chance to pop off. It was mentioned in a government document. I still think people are going to go that direction. The chart's not looking good. I'm definitely down. Go to my screen here, Smay. I bought in way back here around the 9-cent range. It's now down to 8 cents, so I am down. I did tell everybody when I purchased it, this is not going to be a massive part of my portfolio, less than 1%, right? I'm not saying this is going to be the coin that turns me into a multi-millionaire by any means, because I'm not putting that much money there. However, there was, for a little bit of time, there was a trend that I thought would be, broke into the upside. We had a little bit of a symmetrical triangle pattern. I thought we'd break to the upside. I thought the crypto would take the upside. It broke down. Now, there is something to be aware of here in terms of formations, a little bit of a constriction potentially in play on a shorter time frame where you can see a trending level of support, but also a trending level of resistance, depending on where you want to draw it. Because there's so many obscure wicks, you could draw it like this and have it way out here. What I'm actually going to do on this daily chart, I'm going to look. This is one of the things that I kind of talk about and teach a little bit in the academy, but we'll go specifically here. The wicks are not very reliable. The wicks are all over the place. I also know this is a small cap coin. So to me, I think candle body closes are probably more significant at this time. There is a little bit better of a trend right there. And you'll see here, let's turn this one green just to get a visual of support and resistance right here. This is what we call a falling wedge pattern. It's a bullish pattern. It should break to the upside. Am I bullish on Plume? Yes, I'm still bullish on Plume. Am I in profit on Plume? No, I'm not in profit on Plume. But I haven't given up hope. But just to make sure, I don't have that much money invested in it. If Plume goes to zero and I'm completely wrong and this coin ends up sucking, I really hope you guys won't lose a lot of money because I won't lose that much money. And I was very transparent when I talked about it. Don't put a lot of money in it. It's a risky play, right? This is a coin that I told you when I bought it 9 cents, I said this coin could 50x or do nothing. So far, it's been doing nothing. Yeah. But I'm leaving a little bit in there. I still think it could go up. You got a better chance if you believe in it and you want to buy more here at 8 cents, you're in a better chance of more than 50x potentially if I'm still right long term about its potential. But for now, I believe in it. But it has disappointed me. It's gone the wrong direction. I thought it was going to go up a lot sooner. I think there's still a chance, though. Still a chance it does something else. Let's go off that screen right there. Some other questions that we got coming in here. There was a question about ONDO, so we will look at ONDO TA. Dimitri says, can we look at Link and Sui? I'll put them down. We'll kind of play those ones by ear. I do Link all the time. Sui, we haven't done a little bit. But what?
No, I was just going to say, I've got a quick answer to one of the questions here. Yeah, what was the person? James London said, is it a good idea to swap ONDO for ENA or even swap ONDO for Chainlink? So what I would do is not swap any top 100 coin for another top 100 coin, right? This is not the part of the market to be flip-flopping and moving in and out with your investment bags. Trading, something completely different. Obviously, the name of the game is to be swapping in and out and optimizing fully. When it comes to the investment side, though, I don't want to swap ONDO for Chainlink or Chainlink for ONDO or ENA for Chainlink, right? I want to just continue to add to those coins that I have conviction in with new income, okay? So if I don't have any ENA, I'm not going to sell ONDO or Chainlink and buy ENA. I'm going to just get new income and I'm going to buy ENA. Why? Well, it's mostly a head game. It's mostly a principle that I like to stick to with that is that if you get in the habit of swapping top 100 coins, you're not doing the proper education. You're not spending hours and hours understanding why you would swap. You're just watching one video and then swapping. That's not a good practice. You're going to go crazy doing all that swapping, right? What you really need to do is just have an understanding of the different narratives, be diversified across the narratives. And if one narrative just really loses steam, then swap out of that narrative into a more stable narrative like just Ethereum, right? Going up the risk curve. But this is just not the part of the market to be swapping out of top 100 coins into other top 100 coins. That's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. And it's worked pretty well for me.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad answer whatsoever unless the coin in question is Polkadot. I would get out of Polkadot or Trump or any other meme coins, and I would get into something better. But on the specific side, let's even talk about ENA versus ONDO, the specifics. Again, I think people have answered in chat, get both. And what Strum was saying, get both. Because the reality is, I think I would give an edge to ONDO having a better return on your investment than ENA for a couple of reasons. I think ONDO is going to be ranked higher at the end of this whole thing. I think it's play in the real world asset space is going to make it one of the top coins. It's currently a lower market cap than ENA. If you go to my chart here, ENA is coming in right now at number 31 overall, behind like stable coins and everything else, versus ONDO is coming in right now down here at number 40, right? So let's just say they both add the same amount of market cap to their portfolios, that's a bigger gain for ONDO. You don't want to make this game of flip-flopping back and forth between the hot token and the cold token. So you don't want to get a token cold and then go transfer into a hot token. If anything, and again, I don't think you should make this swap either, but if anything, I would make the argument that if you're like, no, someone told me, Tim, I have to swap either ENA into ONDO or ONDO into ENA, I would actually throw out my ENA into ONDO. And that's not saying that ENA is not a good project, not going to go places. Hold your ENA bag. But the reason why is because I am not going to take, let me rephrase it. I want to start in a different chart. I'm not going to take my portfolio in a coin that fundamentally is bright and is going to make a lot of money, but has been underperforming now for quite some time. I'm not going to take my oversold token to go buy the overbought token that has been performing quite well. If anything, you take the profits from the good performers to put into the bad performers. You don't take bad performers that you believe in long-term to move into good performers. I know some people would say that's what you do. That's what you do if this is Polkadot and you don't believe in it fundamentally. But if you believe in the ONDO fundamentals, if you still think, along with me, that this is going to be one of the top real-world asset plays out there, then you actually are waiting and trying to put as much money into ONDO at these low prices as possible, not the coin that's had an amazing run here more recently. Now, again, I say all that to say I'm not fudding ENA. I'm not saying sell your ENA. I'm not saying this coin's crashing to zero. I'm saying right now, you tell me I have $1,000 and I can only choose one of these two tokens to invest in. I'm putting in the coin that I believe in both of them, but is oversold rather than overbought at the moment. So there's your thought right there about ENA or ONDO. Very good question there. There's another one here is what is the best investment to play the staking narrative? Pendle, Aave, Morpho, Lido, or other? I'll be honest with you. I'm probably not going to be the best one to answer that question. Right after we're done here, Crux is going to be live, Crux of Crypto. I do believe it'll automatically send you over there, so stick around with us all the way to the end. Make sure to smash the like button here. And then go watch Crux of Crypto. He will be live. Smash the like over there. Hit subscribe. Ask him a question. He is putting in chat Morpho. So there's an answer, but I still encourage you. See, there, Crux of Crypto, he's so new here. If he answers all the questions over here, who's going to come watch his show? Sometimes you got to leave the people a little suspenseful, Crux, and get them to come on over. But thank you for giving that answer. You are saying Morpho. If you want more great answers like that, go watch Crux of Crypto here in about 20-some minutes. Beebs commented earlier saying, is there a possibility that 124,000 was the top for Bitcoin this cycle? I mean, from 15,000 in 2022 to 124,000, that's a solid move in my opinion. Okay, cool. Yes, it is a solid move. To be fair, 15,000 to 100,000 is a solid move. That doesn't mean that 100,000 was the top. So I don't think that should be the argument for when a top's coming in. We put a lot of videos out there here more recently about what that would look like. Let me actually, don't go to my screen just yet here. Let me show you guys. Some of you guys, I don't know if you guys have actually done this before. Go to our channel, Tim Warren. You can share my screen now here. Go to our channel, click on it. Make sure you're subscribed to it, right? There's going to be a subscribe button somewhere in this round. Look around the videos. We put out some bangers here more recently. You know, here's a video right here. It's not tiled this way, but we get into the 4-year cycle theory. Take my face off so people can see this. 4-year cycle theory video right here. Crypto bull market over in 30 days. This time is different. Great content if you haven't seen that one. 3 coins to avoid. I've mentioned that a couple of times now. But right here, this one from 10 days ago, the perfect crypto bull market exit strategy. I talk very, very detailed levels of what we're looking for. You can put my face back on. I give a lot of details about what you are looking for to feel like the top is in. All that being said, is it possible, because your question was technically possible, is it possible that $124,000 was the top of Bitcoin? Yes, it is possible. I do not believe it is probable. I do not believe it is likely. I do believe we will go higher. I have personal thoughts that we get over 200,000, but again, in the video, you go back over here, watch this perfect exit strategy thumbnail. I tell you what things will be happening from a from a chart perspective, from a sentiment perspective, from an on-chain analysis perspective. I talk about the things that you will want to look at and say, oh, top is in, and none of those things are happening right now. So possible, yes, 124,000 could have been the top, just not very likely whatsoever, in my personal opinion. All right. There was some people want to do some ONDO TA. I mentioned ONDO. Let's do some ONDO TA here. And this might, we do have to talk about Moon Madness here in a little bit. So we might do this question, do some Moon Madness, and do some more questions right after. Make sure we got over 920 people watching right now. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Smash the like button if you have not already. It's free. It helps us. I like when you do it. It makes me not cry. It allows us to keep paying Smay even when he's sick. Otherwise, we don't pay Smay because no likes are happening. So smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Back to my screen. Sorry to give a little monologue there. ONDO did have a big breakout back here in July, but it's been stifled again ever since, right? We had this longer time frame falling channel, very bullish. I thought this was the bottom. We bought down here at 62 cents. It's now coming back up, but it's then stifled once again. On the positive side, you do see a little bit of a symmetrical triangle kind of in play right here. Yes, we have lower resistance levels. We have higher support levels. Will we see a big breakout? You know, if we get a breakout to the upside, you're looking at a bare minimum here for ONDO to pop up here and go back up towards $1.30, give or take. Now, that's nothing compared to where we just were. Last year, of course, ONDO climbed up here in December 24 as high as $2.13. This is one of the most oversold legitimate utility tokens out there. It is one of the coins that I'm using as much of the dips as possible when I get dry powder to buy because I think it's dramatically oversold and I think it has a bright future. But it has been very disappointing. I'm not going to lie and say it has not been. I'm ready. I don't know what the exact narrative is going to be and what's going to happen exactly. I think this is one that rate cuts could significantly help, and then further regulatory clarity from institutions that are going to be, investing into real world asset plays. That's going to play a major role in ONDO. Someone's saying watch ONDO tomorrow. Shrum, is there something big happening to ONDO tomorrow?
There absolutely is. They're basically going live. You go to my screen here. Tomorrow, ONDO Global Markets makes its debut. 100 plus tokenized stocks and ETFs go live on Ethereum.
That's good.
A defining moment that brings traditional markets on-chain at scale for everyone but Americans. I don't believe that they're going to be able to offer this in America, but Americans already have access to the U.S. stock market. So big.
Well, Americans suck anyways. Just kidding. All right. Let's go ahead and keep back here. There's a couple more things I want to look at my chart, but good news. I did not know that was tomorrow, so I learned along with you guys while we are here. Let's take a look at some other things. Let's start off what's going on with our oscillators here. You guys saw there was a big sell signal back here on August 15th. Could have traded that. I did not trade it personally, but you could have traded that. Did we get down to the smart trail? Oh, didn't have to go down the smart trail. We could have just traded it probably to an order block down here. And yeah, look at that. Look at Lux Algo. Nice support level right there. Clean level to take profit after a sell signal. We are starting to see the beginning signs like Bitcoin. It's not quite there. The money flow is not positive yet, but I told you alts are going to be a little bit behind Bitcoin. Green reversal, bullish momentum dot, and that money flow is curving. Actually, when you zoom in, let's get a bullish day here, but technically, that's a slight uptick in volume right there. A bigger question is going to be, what does the money flow look like on like the 4-hour chart? Positive. Sideways, but positive. 1 hour kind of positive. So we could be a day or two away from confirming a daily buy signal here on ONDO, which would be very, very good. In that case, we're looking at that breakout. Remember, I told you $1.30. Well, not quite $1.30, but we could get back up to like 118, technically 111 to 120 will be the range of that smart trail. That's also where the red cloud is. Wouldn't be surprised to see some people take profit at that point. There's going to be an order block in that camp as well. I can just tell you it's not popping up as an order block, but it should be. Maybe if the 4-hour would give it. Yeah, there you go. Order block right there on 115, just because that's where people sold last time. So there's going to be a little bit of selling. But if we can start to make some major moves, all of a sudden out on the weekly chart, we got some big potential still all the way up here back towards $1.50. And it's such a newer coin. Again, altcoin season happens, adoption happens, ONDO explodes to the upside. I do want to see ONDO start to move up, right? I'm not freaking out about ONDO. You guys know I've talked about ONDO. I think the potential in this bull market still could reach the realm of like $20. I need to start moving, right? I'm not going to hold on to that prediction forever. At the end of the day, if ONDO only makes it up to like $5 or $7, I will be disappointed. But if all the signs come in, the bull market's over and we're at $5 or $7, I'm going to say, all right, I messed this one up. I overinvested in a project that didn't make me as much money as other things made me. Now, my average entry is below $1. So let's say it makes it $6 and I 6x my investment, right? That's going to be more than 6x, but I'm just kind of giving a simple answer. I'm not going to be upset at myself. I just thought a 20, 30, or 40x was potentially still on the table for a coin like ONDO. Actually, again, I think a lot of my purchasing happened down close south of 50 cents. So I could still make a lot of money if I'm right. If I'm wrong, okay, I'm wrong sometimes. I'm not pretending I'm right about everything. So I will continue to monitor it. I still have a window of time saying, hey, it can still do a good job and explode. I think anytime someone's like, Tim, it's time to give up on a coin, I want to remind them of some stuff that we called here. And this isn't the Tim's always right segment of the show, because Tim's wrong a lot, right? I'm wrong all the time, but I'm right a lot of times too, right? And a time that I was very right, and people kind of ate crow, calling me crazy for it. There's actually 2 times XRP I was right. First of all, some of you will remember, say a name that we don't say on this channel very much. Some of you will remember when I used to be on the BitBoy team way back in 2023 on a live show with Ben. Shout out to Ben. Ben's back right now. Praying he's doing well. He seems better. So our thoughts and prayers with him. Would love for him to be fully healthy and back to the old self. I miss the old Ben. I was on his show with him, and XRP exploded here in July, shooting up almost to $1. And I got made fun of so hard when I said, hey guys, probably pulling back down at least to 56 cents. I got called crazy. I got called fraud. The comment section was fun to read. I don't get my feelings hurt in comment section. I've learned to have a tough skin. It was one of the most fun reads I've had my entire career doing this. A couple of short weeks later, people were saying, oh my gosh, Tim was right. Holy crap. Then you continue into the summer of 2024, and I told people, hey guys, XRP, I know you're discouraged. I know people don't like it. XRP is going to explode and become the #1 coin for a multi-week time frame, not #1 coin over Bitcoin, but it is going to be the greatest thing in crypto, and people are going to miss out on it. Do not miss the opportunity. People said, Tim, you're crazy. XRP's dead. It's over. We're never going anywhere. XRP here in November 2024 was the top mover. It would go from 50 cents in a short couple of weeks all the way up to almost $3. Once again, I got made fun of. I got being told I was an idiot. I got told, Tim, don't quit your day job. Joke's on them. This is my day job. And it turns out I'm good at that day job. I got a good call there, made some money on XRP. What's my overall point here? Don't judge a token's massive success or massive failure on simply the last couple of candles. Take into account fundamentals, long-term trajectory, long-term charts, sentiment in the space. Just because ONDO's chart, there's a lot I just said there to get back to this point. Just because ONDO has been boring and lackluster for a little bit of time here doesn't mean it's over. Don't make a long-term call on ONDO just yet, just because the last couple of candles on the weekly chart aren't your favorite looking candles, okay? We got there, right? We had a long story trip there, but I think we got to my end point, and I think I was helpful. If I was not helpful, let me know. Tell them, say in chat, Tim, that was a waste of 5 minutes. That might have been 10 minutes. I don't even know. But if I was helpful, say, Tim, that was awesome. Thank you so much. Some of you will know, Smade, we have the graphic. Moon Madness starts today. We just put that video out yesterday. A competition throughout all of September, but we're going to find out what you, the community, think the #1 coin to hold for 10 years is going to be. We have a whole bracketing system. You can go vote on those first 5 matchups. ETH, Algo, Hype, Aptos. Go over to the X account, Tim's X account. Go to my screen here, Smay, and these polls are out there. Let's take a quick look, and we will talk more about this tomorrow. This is a 48-hour poll, I do believe. So far, ENA versus Litecoin. ENA, slight lead. Only 83 votes, so this can still go a lot of directions, but ENA's in the lead. So if you like Litecoin and you don't want ENA to win, go vote. Some other ones, okay, I don't know who the 18% is voting for DOT. They need help. But Uni is handsomely beating Dot. Go help that one out. There's no reason Dot should win that matchup. Sui handsomely beating Nier. Kind of figured that was going to happen. Hype is beating Aptos at the moment. That was one I really did not know which way it was going to go, so that's interesting. And then ETH, as we assumed. Listen, we just need the algo community to get in here. AJ writes crypto. You need to watch this video. Go find this tweet. Get your people going, because at the moment, ETH is handsomely defeating algo, but we have a long time left before this is said and done. Go back to your screen, Smay, as we look at the moon madness there. A lot of stuff happening, right? These are the first 5. Tomorrow we'll release another 6. Then the Friday show will release the last 6 of the first round. Next week, we will start the Sweet 16. So go vote. Go vote on all those. Be watching almost every single day. Scroll through the Tim Warren Trades X account and make sure you are giving your opinion, because we want to find out once and for all, what is the number one coin to hold for 10 years? Shrum, any surprises you saw in these voting so far? Anything that's kind of shocking you about the poll so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ENA, polling ahead of Litecoin, that's a surprise. There's no way that Litecoin has a smaller community than ENA at this point. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's pretty incredible. ENA.
I can't remember. Did we? I think you said Litecoin. Didn't Crux and I say ENA though? I can't remember.
Might be. I think.
Let's go back and watch the tape.
I'm not sure. We'll have to go back and watch the tape. Exactly. But ENA community doing well there. Very, very exciting for them. For us, I should say. I would count myself among the prestigious ENA community.
Crux is saying he said Litecoin. I genuinely don't remember what I said there. So I'm going to have to go back and watch the tape. I should have officially filled out the bracket. Maybe I'll go back and watch the tape and fill it out for myself to make sure I'm on my P's and Q's. Ryan says AVAX. Are you saying AVAX in terms of you want TA, or you're saying where's AVAX on this list? It's on the it's on that right side. It's the number 11 seed. That'll be a matchup you won't see until Friday, right? So we're going left to right. You saw the first 5 today. Tomorrow we'll be releasing the HBAR Pepe, Tron Arbitrum, Doge ICP, XRP Caspa. People are gonna love that one. Link ONDO, and then the last one, XLM versus Tau. That can't be right. I think we have to release. No. Okay. We will release Sheeb versus XMR as well. Okay, 6. Yeah, I got that wrong. Our math is off here somehow. We're going to release them all, though, this week. I got to go back and look at that. Something is off on my math on that, but that is okay. Brian Wild said, what's the good news? There's a lot of good news, Brian. I think you should go back and watch the stream. The number one news that we said is that Jim Cramer is bearish, which is always good news when he has that opinion. But go back and watch the show if you guys are just getting to the end. We are about to wrap it up here because the Crux of Crypto live show is literally minutes away from starting. But we'll take in just one more question and we'll call it a round today. 6 coins, 3 matchups, not 6 matchups. Nope, that's not true. I don't know, Smay, what we're talking about there. Way to transition to the next live stream on the Way to 24/7 Crypto channel. It's going to be quite some time, Shrum, before we're a 24/7 Crypto channel. Give it maybe 10 years. You think we get there sooner?
We might have to start interviewing for show hosts. Let us know.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a show host for a 24-hour crypto news channel?
Retro Beast here. We're in the last question here. We'll call it a show. Retro Beast says, Tim, we're basically twins now. I've got my cap. When are we training? Training in the gym, training in the trading sessions. I normally am live Monday nights. Obviously, yesterday was a holiday. I'll be live again for our trading group Wednesday night at 7 p.m., Thursday night at 7 p.m. But every single day, we got Rufio, we got Silent, we got some other traders who are live. So if you are a VIP trader, make sure don't miss out any of the live trading sessions. If you're not a VIP trader, I encourage you, go check out that link down below. I also want to let you guys know, Luxalgo, like I said earlier, there's 2 days left here, Labor Day sale. If you watch this TA and you said, man, I want to make the same calls Tim's making, I want to buy those dips, I want to sell those peaks, I love his technical analysis. I use Luxalgo. I teach you how to use it in the VIP trading group, or you can teach yourself. Go purchase Luxalgo. I think it's 45% off right now when you purchase a whole year package. Go check that out here in the link down below. With that said, that's all we have for you today. We'll be back tomorrow for our normally scheduled Wednesday live show. This was a special edition of Tuesday. Go check out the Crux of Crypto channel. Make sure to smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed, and make sure you're back tomorrow. Love you guys. See you then.